now let's meet again. So here, that's your front pocket of the actual carcass of the bag. This has nothing to do with the flap of the satchel. That flap we look at later. So as I said to you, this zip here is hanging between the back of that front pocket, which in the instructions has no additional pocket. So don't let me confuse you. That's just the bottom of a trouser, right? And then the back of the zip is sewn on to the front bit of the carcass of the bag. Right, we start this with putting the zip like that.
No.
So we start with putting the zip along the upper edge of the lining piece. The extensions, you make sure that you have equal distance of the extensions to either side of that piece. Ignore all this, that was me making more fabric out of the little bits I had left because I thought nobody will look inside my lining of my pocket to check. Now I have pinned the zip in just a bit from the side that I can sew the first side in, and that's why I wanted the extensions to be just in same continuation as the zip, because then you can just pretend that is zip tape and just continue. I have changed my foot to the zipper foot, and I have put my needle to the very leftist position so I can get near to the zip. So now we want to sew the zip in. If you're really careful, you can actually go over the pins, because remember, you have got a strong needle in, you have got a jeans needle in. You can't really go over the zip with a fine needle, but a jeans needle can go over pins, but the pins didn't like it, so that's fine. You can take them out. So take them out, maybe better. I'm following zip tape has got funny lines. These lines are meant to aid you with your sewing. So I take this line here as my guideline. So every kind of brand of zip, every type of zip has different lines. So if you're too far out, it looks a bit funny. If you're too near, it looks funny. But this line here is a good one, so I'm following that. Like this. Take that out. That glider shouldn't annoy us because we are outwards of it, so we can just ignore it and continue feeding this through to the very end and locking our stitch. So now we take this, and as I mentioned earlier, this pocket lining is only on the one side. It's not on the other side. On the other side, the zip is just top stitched onto the front bit of the satchel carcass. So now we need to top stitch this edge onto the zip again, so that it's nicely in the middle, that you have the extensions equal distance. So, but now if you top stitch that like this, then you would stitch through that we don't really want. So now we put this away for a minute and we top stitch it like that. Do you see what we have done here? We just prepared it because we could not have paid attention to this bit, to the zip and to the lining. So we have prepared it, and now we top stitch this piece on top. So now, because our zipper foot is on this side, we need to change it onto the other side. So let me take it out, change it over, and then consequently also let me move the needle back over. That's better, because then we can stitch from this side, and we still need to move the glider a bit because there's too much zipper foot left over. And then we line it up that this piece is on the same line as this piece, and obviously you want to hide that stitching line. So we come a bit nearer here and we are going. Here you go. Have your fingers on the thread, have your needle down, 1 2 3 1 2 3, and you go. So make sure that lays flat, which it will because it's already connected, and then we are going equal distance to the teeth and just stitch along. And then once we have come to here, we put our needle down, take that thread out, that's a bit annoying, we lift, we put that zipper glider back to the other side. It's always a bit of a faff, but we will win, and we continue what we're doing. See, if I hadn't put the needle down, then we wouldn't have continued exactly where we were, and we would have had a zigzag, a little blip in the run, which we didn't want. So now you need to be careful. We come now to a bumpy bit. See, my fingernail is really pushed in here, so I'm helping to push this under, but obviously need to move in good time because I have no interest to be sewn onto my bag. Here we are, we're off the hill, and then we continue. We need to be pulling a bit, see, because it's so flimsy, this side, the jeans pulls over here, so we need to pull a bit against that to make sure they marry okay. And I often do that with scratching it a bit under with my seam ripper. The seam ripper helps me pushing the fabric through, and then you just go all the way. Let me see. That's quite a bit longer. Let me see if that still fits. Yes, so we just need to pull the lower fabric a little bit when we are pulling that down, but we can. So now that this is sewn on, see, you have got your stitching here, you have got your stitch, your top stitching here, and underneath you have your lining, and the stitching is not visible because when we stitched it, we opened it up so that you have two stitch lines visible here, one from where we attach the lining, and the second one from the stitching here. So now you pull it down, and here we know, I haven't cut out this piece very well, have I? There's clearly a little bit missing, so we will just pull that a bit over and trick it with the seam allowance. So, and then I just want to press it down a little bit to make it nice and flat, like so. And then I will now from the outside put a few pins in from the side to just hold that all a bit together. Hold it all a bit together, and then adjust the length down here. And again, it's easier to cut the length off if I have a few pins in from the side. That's okay, we can pull that over. Let's make sure that's nice and flat. And this. So when you're pinning here from the top, make sure that underneath it's all flat and it looks okay. We'll just take the scissors and cut this off. Cut this off, and then we don't need to argue with it when we're sewing on the layers now. There, put that away. So, and now we take the front bit. That's the front bit of the carcass. I decided to use it like this. I want to have that a bit more visible than there. And now this needs to go onto it, like so. That's how we sew it in when we are sewing the height onto it, right? It needs to match up on the bottom and needs to match up on the sides. Why do I put that on? To show you where the zip has to go. So this zip now, you fold that over to get the position where that zip is going to go, and make sure at the same time that they are layering up here. So that's a bit fluffy, and I propose to you, once you have this, to very carefully open the zip. You open the zip and you look where the underneath, you put a few pins down here whilst you hold everything else as well. This is really not quite user friendly, but you will find a solution like so. Here, then you fold it over and you close the zip like so, and then you try it again. It looks parallel from up here, so we're good there, but obviously we need to make sure we're ending parallel here, like on top of each other. That actually looks okay, so I'm quite pleased with that. Then I come on this side and I sew the zip on. We have to go on this side again. Up. And have to move our needle again. So now we need to make sure you can put some more pins. I follow now the weave of the jeans, but please do feel free to put more pins, that it gives you a straight line. And again, we are stitching here in that nice interesting line near to the zip's teeth, but not too near. And we close our stitch that nothing will unravel on us, and we stitch it down. See, I'm getting an arch, so I need to make sure I'm shoving that under as I'm going. You can use an awl, a stiletto for that. It's called a sewing stiletto. That has got a long pointy front and a handle, but I'm just using my seam rippers, whichever I have to hand, and that does me very well usually. So then we get this bit out and we stay straight here, kind of, and we do the rest. Here you go, make sure they stay together here, and then you go all the way to the end here. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So here's your zip in there. It looks okay, distance to the top, it's not too bad, and it meets down here. So I think we're not too bad. I think after about 20 bags we can do that about to 5-star standard, but I think 4-star is not bad for the beginning. So now we need to pin them together, these layers here. Pin them together. So I'm now putting the pins through all the layers. So you have quite a few layers here. You have got the back carcasse of the bag, you have got the lining, and then you have got the front pocket piece. So now when you're sewing that together onto the sides, you have quite a few layers to deal with. Okay, so here I need to be careful because in my fanciness I wanted that pocket, so my stitch line needs to be in there. If I hit that plate, I need a new needle. So I think I deal with the difficult bits first and start on that side. And again, you always do that with the sides on top, so that you see where the pivot points are. The pivot point is here, which is nicely equal distance to either side. And then let's have a look at this. You might want to get your clips out. I'm not really a clippy person. I've never been. I just use my fingers mostly, but please do get your clips out. Clip it all the way up. That's absolutely fine. And then we give it a shot to sew that together. You could now obviously use your normal foot as well, but I just stay on the zipper foot. That does me fine. The normal foot normally has more power, but with this machine the zipper foot is quite big, so I'm okay. So I know that somewhere here is that metal plate underneath, that rivet. So see, this is very bulky here, so it's very advisable to go quite a few times back and forth. You don't want that to pop open here. So any heavy duty sewing, you want to go over heavy bits quite a few times, but you want to go slow. Don't rush this, go slow. And see, my fingers are very near to the needle, so that's one of those moments where you might get sewn in. But on the other hand, you are able to really push that fabric through. Unfortunately, in the video you don't see just how much I need to push to get it all in the right place. I'm coming to here, there, and then I go up. And also, when you have a lot of layers in here, you might forget to put the lever back down because it looks already full. But always put your lever down, always make sure you see it, otherwise your tension is not engaged. Let's see here where I am. Yes, I need to pull a bit. If I let the jeans win, see, I'm beyond. So I need to make sure that I don't pull on that at all. To make sure, see, now we are back on down here, so we need to make sure we get that in nice with our seam ripper helping us a bit. Yeah, we are onto a winner here. That's good. Going to here and pivot in there as before, and let's go on the home run. Make sure you don't go behind. Lever back down, don't forget. And the home run. Oh, now that's not your friend. You see, you would definitely crash into that. So I would really open that back quite a bit, that you have peaceful traveling here, as they say. Again, here's the bumpy bit where the zip extension is, so please do go a bit back and forth. Look how I have my hands are physically pushing and guiding that fabric, but I'm not changing it because I'm not pulling that way. I'm just having my hands on it and I'm guiding it through. Here you go. So as you have already seen on the lining how we are sewing that up, I don't need to let you watch how I sew the backside on. I do it just exactly the same. So we meet after I have done that finished.